everybody. Welcome to your Monday Morning Jumpstart. Jade Trueblood here, rejoined with guest Terri Trespicio. Hello, Terri.
Hello.
If you missed the last couple of weeks, we talked about rule breaking, rule following that we did, baggage carrying, luggage leaving, myth zone busting, comfort zone myth busting. And today we're going to, keep on the theme of overcoming blockages, finding flow. Terri, you're a writer. You're talking to writers. Why is this so important?
Because if you can't get yourself onto the page, then you can't do any of the work you most want to do. And, you wouldn't be a writer right now if you didn't really want to do it, because you know what? There's nothing easier in life than not being a writer. Most people don't choose that. So you have to start by realizing that most people don't want to do it. You're doing it because you want to. And yet I've worked with lots and lots of people who are writers and are either exploring it or been doing it their whole lives. All writers will feel blocked from time to time. Even the people who you and I think are so successful, they get blocked too. And so it's not about, I guess I'm blocked, I can't do it anymore. No, we have to look at our work differently. And as someone who was always a little bit perfectionist, was always a little bit like, I can't do it unless I know what I'm going to be saying, that doesn't work. And so, Jade, one of the things that I'm going to say that is the number one tip for writers who want to be writing is the worst thing you can do as a writer when you're trying to write is think. Do not think. Thinking is actually not your friend. Thinking gets in the way of writing. Now, when you're in the shower, you might be thinking about things you want to write or need to write. That's fine. But when you go to write and you've blocked time to write, it's time to write, not think. And I tell you this as someone who starts things all the time without knowing where they're going or knowing how I'm going to get there. I'll write I'll be like, okay, I'm going to write a sales page for a product that doesn't exist yet. That's how we do. And I'll sit down and go, oh God. And you can't sit down and write the perfect sales page. So what do? I get on there and I call it a backstage draft.
Okay.
I talk my way through it. So I'll say, gosh, I don't know. Sometimes I'll write it. Sometimes I'll type it and say, I don't know what I want to say, but here's what I think I want this to do for people. And I talk it out through words. So I don't allow myself to think in here. Mm-hmm. I let the writing do the thinking for me, because thinking and writing are completely different. And if you're waiting to write until you have a good idea, well, you can't fill a cup by staring at a faucet. And you can't write a thing by looking at a blank page. You have to get it running. And that might be one of the strongest skills I've cultivated to help other people do it and to help myself, because I hit the same walls that everyone else does.
I'm so glad you painted that picture, because I was going to say, how do you write without thinking? But you're saying instead of it living here, it all just comes out onto the paper.
You're not allowed to have a thought that isn't coming out of you at that moment. Natalie Goldberg, right? She's all of our writing teacher mamas. And if you haven't read her, of course you must. She says, writing does writing. She studied meditation. You don't meditate in order to write. You meditate to meditate. You do this to do this. Writing does writing. And so the trick has been to just write without questioning it, because then you have words on the page. And we all say it's easier to revise than it is to start in a blank page. And here's another tip. I was taught this by a woman named Suzanne Kingsbury, who taught me this method I use with writing. And she said, sometimes it's a good idea to write tired. When you have a draft, let's say, okay, so I do have an article to write for a client. And I know kind of what I want to do. And I keep kind of looking at it and dancing around it and not doing it. We all do that. But when it's time to do it, what I'll do is the night before I really want to start, I'll sit down like 9 at night when I'm like, no good to anybody, right? And I open a page and I just go, blah, 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 blah. Here's what I think I'm going to talk about, kind of like stage direction. I think we'll talk about this, and then I'll probably go this. Maybe I should reference that. You just let it go out messy and just write. Before you know it, you are writing it. And then you go to bed. Then you wake up, you have your coffee, you sit down, you go, what did yesterday me get done? Oh, how nice. Yesterday me left me a draft. And then I read it and I go, there's a lot in here I could use. Thank you very much. And I'm not starting blank.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the way, is you have to turn the faucet on. As you're writing, the language you use is what triggers the ideas and meaning, not the other way around.
Mm. And I think, going back to rules, I think there's like this like worry that some people have that somebody's going to see your first draft or judge your first draft or look at the page where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody sees that but you, right? And I'm guessing you're kinder to yourself than anybody else would be when looking at it.
Well, no, we're rougher on ourselves. Are you kidding?
But I think that the idea that what comes out initially has got to be the thing, right? It's got.
Oh my God, no. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And like, I'm going to sit down and write a smart tagline and then write the thing. No, write messy, write dirty. It's not bad. It's raw.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a cake and you look at the eggs, the mix, do you say, oh, all these ingredients are bad because they're not finished? I'm mad at the egg because it's not a cupcake yet. No, it's an egg. It's meant to be an egg. I'm going to mix it all together. And I trust that as I write it and work with the writing. Here's another thing is I don't think we allow ourselves to sink into the work. I know now it takes me a good 20 minutes to even get into the writing. You can't pop in and write a meaningful thing and pop back out. I say it's kind of akin to getting into a hot tub. You don't jump into a hot tub. You ease in. Picture yourself easing into a hot tub. Woo, okay, this is hot. We're just going to ease it. You go in, and once you're in, now you're in. Now it's harder to get out.
Yeah.
Give yourself plenty of time to sit and maybe do stare into space for a while. Ann Patchett, who's written 1.5 bazillion books, says that a lot of her time she's staring into space. That's what her life has been. She stares into space. Now you might go, is she thinking? Kind of, maybe not, just allowing space for ideas to come. The more you use your writing machine, which is your body, the more you use it, the better and faster you get. It's like anything. You learn fly fishing. If you do it a couple hours every day, you're going to get real good at it. You can learn. This is not magic. Copywriting is a skill.
Yeah.
And you can do it, but you can't think about doing it.
I didn't plan on asking this to you, but I'm going to anyways. When you got into like what you think is the end of your editing process, I know a lot of people have trouble with like, is this good enough? Like,
it's done.
I could keep refining. I could keep editing. I could keep adding. I could keep. How do you know it's time? Or do you have anything that you follow to know? Okay.
Yeah.
It goes. Okay.
You know how I know it's done?
Deadline.
It's due.
Yeah.
It's just like Saturday Night Live. They're not doing those skits because they're ready. It's 11:30 on Saturday night. Like, that's it. This is why writers need deadlines. And writers will give themselves a hard time. Oh, I'm a procrastinator. I wait till last minute. Yeah, because we all need a little pressure to get it done. That's okay. Here's what I say to that. Promise it to someone. Promise it to someone you trust to read it without making you feel bad about it, right? You don't hand your stuff to everybody to read. What do you think of this? No. You'll get so much feedback from people, you won't know what to do. And quite frankly, most people don't know how to give great feedback. So when I have to do something and I need someone else to look at it before I submit it or whatever, I will ask someone who has been trained in the method I'm trained in, because I don't want to have someone telling me what's bad about it. It doesn't help me. I'll say, what do you love about this? Can you tell me where the strongest parts are? Where do you get a little confused or lost? So that then I take it back and refine it more. But when it's done, I'm joking, right? Of course, when it's due, you have to hand it in.
Yeah.
But someone else doesn't tell you it's done. Someone else can give you a little feedback, but I feel a piece click into place and I also feel done with it. I'll be like, it's enough. If you're revising we're ad nauseum where you can't get out of it, stop and ask yourself, what am I trying to do? Because if every piece of writing has a purpose, if you have not achieved that purpose, maybe you do need to revise it because you haven't said what you need to say. But I love the revising because it's so fun to go away from it and then come back and then trim the fat out. I'll go, I don't even need that line. I find that very gratifying. A lot of writers do. But you need space from it. So I don't sit down to a piece of writing and have it be done that day. No, I will write a lot. I go away. It has to take a few days because I need it to congeal. Like those brownies we were baking. They need to congeal so you can slice them. Now I can slice them and go, oh my God, I can't believe I was stuck on this last night. I know what to say here. And then at some point, I'm done with you. I don't want to stay in a piece forever. I'm moving on to the next thing.
And I'm guessing also having more work lined up afterwards also helps. You know what I mean? Like,
ask yourself why. Why are you hanging on? Because it's not perfect. No one's writing is perfect. Does it do the job? And by the way, if you hand it to someone, even if it's your client, they might say, we love this, but we think this, and then you change it.
yeah.
These are, especially if you're talking about client work, it is somewhat collaborative. They have to have an opinion about it. So sometimes I don't give it to them perfect. Yes, I'm going to give you a little more loose so that you can tell me what you love so I can hone it the way you want me to.
Yeah, so that's a good tip, I think, as well. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect when you send it, so that it can be collaborative and the end product we've created together. And you're not putting in all the work just for the clients. They're like, actually, we were hoping more to start.
Well, right. Because if you feel it's perfect and you don't want to change a thing, the last thing you want is feedback. And then that's uncomfortable. What I say, if I have to send something that isn't finished, I don't want to seem lazy. Like, I didn't edit this, you read it. I'll say, here's what this is. This is over word count. Say they want 500 words, I gave them 700. This is over word count. And I'll say, here's areas I think could probably be cut, but I want to know what you think. And they might say, oh no, I love that part, but I don't know if I need this. Okay. I'm not giving up responsibility on the piece. I'm allowing someone else to collaborate. And remember, if we're talking about business and copy, that work is not you.
Yeah.
We have to remove the ego from it, or else, you'll never let go of anything because you'll be afraid that you'll get hurt. But I have to say, what they think of it doesn't matter. They're paying for it.
Yeah.
Right? They have to pay
money
for it
regardless.
Yeah, they're going to pay you for it. Make it so that they like it, and don't get caught up in it. Don't be a brat about it.
I love that. And I do want to circle back to where we started as a reminder, like, so don't think while you're writing, everything comes out on the page. That's how you start. That's like a clicking moment for me, because I think everybody can enact that immediately. You know what I mean? That's something that you can start right away. So I love that, Terri.
Well, give yourself a timed prompt too. Like, okay, I only want to write about this one point because writing the whole article feels like too much. So I'm just going to write this one point. I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to walk away from it. Or maybe you overrun your timer and you keep going. If you give yourself enough room to go, you'll probably keep going, but start with a short timer. That is how I run all of my workshops. I keep it real short. Why? Because you don't have time to edit or criticize. So get yourself going. That's the key.
I love that. Okay. Next week, we're going to talk about something that is always on people's minds, even if it's not at the forefront. You signed up for this. You want income. There's money involved. It's a business. It's a part of the conversation. So we're going to talk about money. Terri, we will see you then. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.